Hi, ladies. Welcome to Journey Down Deep. This is brought to you by Peace Theory Consulting. My name is Jessica Bellinger, and I will be your enthusiastic presenter throughout the entire course. And I am super excited to get a chance to walk you through all of the principles for Journey Down Deep. So let's get started. Hi, ladies. Welcome back to Journey Down Deep, and we are going to cover Principle 3 today, which is improve the present. But as always, before we get started, I want you to pull out your reality check template and your productive peace plan template as we will be going through this throughout the course of the video. And as always, I want to make sure that you are prepared ahead of time. For principle 3, improve the present, we are going to take a deep dive into the concept of inventing yourself. Now, we have touched on this in video 1 and video 2, but it's here in principle number 3 that we really take a deep dive into this concept. So I want to start off with explaining that inventing yourself is not about becoming someone else or becoming something that you are not. It is about identifying who you are 100% and being able to bring you into where you want to go. It's also about planning for the future. And that is really where the full idea of inventing yourself came from when this started as an action plan for myself in 2014, because I knew where I was, but I also had a very sturdy, concrete, concise idea on where I wanted to go. And honestly, to tell the for real truth, where I wanted to go scared me. It truly did. There was so much fear that I had at that time because the person that I was currently, I could not fathom getting to the future that I saw myself in. So I came up with the idea of inventing yourself. I am in control. You have the power. So it's on you to start today and take an action to make that future that you're wanting a reality. So what I would like for you to do now is to grab your reality check, and we're going to go through this template and I'm going to explain it in a bit more detail. So our reality check is designed to assist you in evaluating yourself in 13 different areas. You want to evaluate yourself on a 1 to 10 scale in each one of these areas, and this will help you identify areas that your life needs some improvement and areas that you're doing very well in. Once you've completed the assessment, we're going to use this in addition to our productive peace plan to start taking action today so that we can impact the future for tomorrow. So the first thing you will notice with our reality check is that there are 3 different assessment dates on here. You have an initial assessment date and you have 2 reassessment dates. So what I recommend for everyone in the Journey Down Deep program is to take the assessment initially and date it. And then 6 months later, retake it. 6 months later, retake it again. So you should have 1 year of information on just this template so you can see not only where you started, but where you were after 6 months and where you have gotten to after an additional 6 months, so that you cover a whole year by using the same template. So, as I said earlier, there are 13 different areas on this evaluation, and we are going to cover each one, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of information to consider as you're rating this area. So, our first area is religion or spirituality. And here we are not talking just in full thought as far as do you go to church, do you pray, do you attend Sunday school, do you read the Bible? That is not what we're discussing here. Here we are discussing, do you have a relationship with that higher power? Because having a relationship with that higher power starts to grow you and it assists you in understanding more of who you are. So we want to rate this area along with the other 13 from us on a scale from 1 being no, absolutely awful, and 10 being absolutely amazing. So I do want to put in just a quick disclaimer before we dig into the rest of the 12 areas, that if you are evaluating yourself on a 8 to a 10 scale, then that area is pretty much sufficient. And you don't want to focus on that when we move into our next step of creating our productive peace plan. If you're evaluating yourself anywhere from a 1 to a 7 in an area, those are areas that you want to look at and possibly identify some areas for improvement. Our second area on our reality check is relationship. And we want to discuss this in the thought process of, are we in currently a productive relationship that adds to us being a full and whole person? It is not about whether you are single or whether you are married or divorced. It's about, are the relationships that you are in, whether that is a sexual relationship with a significant other, or if that is a friendship with your best friend, are these relationships conducive to the improvement of yourself? If they are, then rate them well. If they're not, then rate them accordingly, and then start to make some changes in your life in that area. Our third area we're going to rate ourselves in is career. And what I want you to consider when you are discussing this area is not whether or not your current job is exactly what you want. No. I want you to really think about, what is that career? What is that calling or that gift that you have yourself that you bring into the jobs that you have? And are you bringing that into the job that you have? If your gift is to be personable and to make everyone smile and to give people joy and happiness every day, but you are stuck behind a desk with minimal to no people involvement and interaction, that may not be the best career for you. So we may want to rate our career low in that area. Our next area that we're going to take a look at is health. And this is not only about your physical health, but it is also about your mental and your spiritual health. Are you in alignment with yourself? Do you feel good in the mornings when you get up? Is your body aching? How is your overall health? And if it is not in a good place, then what are some possible steps that we could take to improve it after we identify why we're not in the best place when it comes to our health? Next area that we cover on our reality check are goals. And yes, I recommend that every person in the world have a goal that they are going after. The thing that came to me in preparing for this video is a saying from Alice in Wonderland that was done by the Cheshire Cat. And he says, if you don't know where you're going, then any direction will get you there. So having goals in life is really about getting clear and concise about where we want to go, so that we are not spinning our wheels and turning in circles and not making improvement, but we are focused on getting to a set end, and that will continue to push us forward and keep us motivated. Next area that we want to evaluate in our reality check is finances. And this is not just about if you have a job that brings in money. This is about savings. Are we saving a set percentage of our income every month? Are we paying ourselves first? Are we able to successfully pay all of our bills without having to rob Peter to pay Paul? Are we in a lot of debt, or do we have our debt under control? What does our credit score look like, and what steps can we make to improve that? So all of these things need to be considered when you are evaluating yourself in the finances area. Our next area for eval is time management. And I put this on the list for myself because initially when I got started, when Journey Down Deep was just an action plan, time management was one of the things that I identified I truly needed some improvement in. And as I began working with other women, I saw that procrastination can definitely be a curse that goes through everyone that you are around. So I wanted to include time management on this so that we can evaluate if we have successful time management strategies in place, or if there are some time management strategies that we need to improve upon so that we can get to where we want to go. Our next area on our reality check is personal value. And this goes back to video number 1, where we talked about self-worth. So when we are viewing ourselves as today, as we're taking our reality check, how do we feel about ourselves? Are we at a 1 where we don't believe that we are motivated, where this person that we are now doesn't bring about any joy to us? Or are we at a 10 where we are fully engaged in who we are and we are true to ourselves every day? So we want to evaluate ourselves on personal value because, again, with the reality check, you're going to be coming back to this in 6 months and in another 6 months. And as you're doing this work, your thought on your personal value is going to change. So that is why I added this on here, so that we can know where we started, so that we can definitely know when improvement has come and where we will be a year from now. The next area on our reality check is self-image. And this is definitely different than personal value, of course, but they do go together. When I look at self-image, I take a look at truly the outside. Are we happy with how we are on the outside? Are we happy with our weight? Are we happy with the clothes that we wear, with our hair, with the way we do our makeup? Are we happy with just who we are in this version that we put out to the world on the outside only? Because it's really important for you to understand that, yes, you can be beautiful and vibrant on the inside, but in order for you to get to where you want to go and for you to truly own who you are, then you have to bring that beauty and vibrance to the outside. So I'm not saying you need to wear a ton of makeup. No. I'm not saying that you have to have a certain hairstyle. No. I'm saying you have to be true to yourself. So in looking at self-image, one of the things that I determined for myself 6 years ago when I started this journey is that I had a set style about myself. I call it classic American bohemian chic. Yes. But when I get ready in the morning, when I'm dressing myself, when I am buying my clothes, in my head, I know that my individual style is classic American bohemian chic. So when I get dressed, I want to put that out to the world. And everyone has their own unique style. This is just mine. There are skater girls. There are going to be ladies out there who are like the 50s pinups. And then you're going to have your hip hop. You're going to have your more classic styles. Whatever that is for you, then determine that and then live that every day in your own self-image. So the next area that we want to cover on our reality check is living conditions. And I put this on here for a reason, because even though we talked about self-image in the last one, but our living conditions also show exactly who we are. So if we don't keep our car clean, or if we don't keep our house clean, then that is a reflection of us. So we want to take the steps to make sure that our living conditions align with the future and the invention of ourselves that we are creating. The next two areas on our reality check are past focused living or future focused living. And they are two separate areas, but I'm going to discuss them together because they do tie in one to one. So let's start off with past focused living. And I put this on here because I want you to decide for yourself if you are living as a victim trapped in the past, or if you're living each present day to its fullest. If we're living in the past, then we can't move forward with as much momentum as we want to, because we are trapped, in essence, in a mindset that is no longer serving us. If we are living in a future focused life, then we are more focused on what we're going to create for tomorrow than what we are doing for today. So both of these are really important on whether you were living in the past, which is doing you great harm to your mindset, or if you are living too much in the future, which is causing you to miss out on the things that you should be focused on for today. And the last thing that we're going to cover with our reality check is sex life. And yes, ladies, I did put sex life on here because your sexual health is just as important as your health and as your mindset. So it is extremely important for you to understand that your sex life can add to, or it can take away from, what it is that you want to do in the present and move into the future. So I want you to evaluate this area in regards to, are you satisfied with where your sex life is, or does it need some improvement? So once we have completed our reality check form, we're now able to use this template in order to start creating some action plans that will move us forward in the areas that we've identified we want to make some improvement in. And ladies, it is also very important for me to let you know that each area that you are choosing to make improvements in does not have to be an awful area. This is all about inventing who you are. So if that's an area that you want to focus on in the present so that you can improve the future, then go ahead and do that. The 8 to 10 is just a rule of thumb so that you don't stay focused in the areas where you may be a bit more comfortable, and that you branch out a bit and start working on those areas where you have identified for yourself that they could use some improvements. After we've completed our reality check, then we're going to move into discussing our productive peace plan. And this plan is a 30-day improvement program that you're going to be putting yourself on. So we're going to go through this template, discuss each little area in a bit more detail, and then we're going to tie these two together along with the concept of inventing yourself. So for our productive peace plan, the first thing you'll notice on your template is that there is a start and an end date. And that start and end date should be about 30 days apart. And the reason why we chose 30 days is because we know it takes 21 days to make a habit, but we really want to focus on something for an extended amount of time. That way you have a lot of opportunity to try different things and to really improve yourself in that area. If you do it for just a week, yes, you may do good for that 1 week, but it's not about 1 week. It's about doing it consistently over a set time frame in order for it to become a part of who you are and a true life habit. The next thing you will notice is that there is an area for goal with a start date and evaluation dates. So we want to decide on what goal we're working on. So if we're taking a look at our reality check, we want to choose some areas that don't have as high a scores as what we would like. We want to identify some reasons why those scores are not as high as we would want them to be. And then that identification of why it's not as high will lead us into being able to figure out what areas we need to work on. So for instance, if I am looking at mine being time management, then one of the things that I may look at where my time management is not as good as I would like it to be is because I don't set alarms in my phone for deadlines that I have coming up. So that may be something that I want to create me a peace plan behind, which is going in and setting the alarms in my phone in order for each deadline that I have coming up, and reminders of a couple of days ahead of time so that it will help jumpstart my brain when I hear those alarms that, oh yeah, I do have that I need to take care of. So that is what I would do to work on time management, by identifying what a root cause issue is of why it is not where I want it to be. Once I've set my start date, I want to do a baseline eval. And your baseline eval is really going to be based on what your score is on that 1 to 10 off of your reality check form. So my baseline for time management, let's say, is a 3. So that means as I go through and I'm working to increase this score from a 3 and make it up. Now, when you're doing your evaluation, I did not stipulate whether you should use a 1 to 10 scale or a 1 to 5 scale. That is up to you. You can even do letter grades, however you choose to. But it is imperative that regardless of what scale you're using, you go back on a consistent basis in order to reevaluate your progress. I prefer weekly, but whatever works best for you, but it's to where you at least get 2 evaluations of your progress within the 30-day time frame. Next, we have productive action steps. And I have 3 areas put down here for items that you can identify and put them on your goal sheet. And these are the action steps that you are going to take to improve yourself in the area that the goal is being set for. So if it is time management, then one item would be setting alarms in my phone. The second item may be going into important deadlines and putting them into my Outlook calendar with a reminder a day and a half ahead of time. The third step may be to make me an affirmation that I say every morning that I am an effective time management person. Whatever it may be, but just ensuring that you have at least 3 action steps for helping you to achieve this goal or to raise your score in this area over the next 30 days. And finally, the last two areas that are covered on the Productive Peace Plan, we are going to cover together. And one of them is actions taken, and the other one is a notes area. So, for the actions taken area, I always like, for my own individual plans, I'd like to have an area where I can document steps that I have taken in order to reach the goal. Finally, we have a notes area. I try to put notes. I am notorious about putting notes on everything. So I wanted to give you an area here where you can identify some areas for notes, things you need to buy, or whatever else that comes into play. But you have an area here so that you can brainstorm or just kind of let your spirit be free. Inventing yourself is not about having this image in your mind and acting out that image. It is truly about making all of the necessary changes and adjustments and developments that you need in order to reach the goals that you want to reach. So you cannot let fear stop you from moving forward on any goal that you want to use, because you are in control of the outcome that you are wanting to reach. And it's on you to ensure that you're taking necessary actions to reach that outcome. So thank you so much for your time today, ladies. And we are getting ready to move on to principle number 4, embrace your shine. Bye.